Good day everybody, hope you like the choice of scenery today. Behind me and where we are currently sat is a dried up river, and this over here, I may show you this in another video, is actually Mount Olympus in Greece. Because apparently in Greek mythology, Mount Olympus is the abode of the gods and the site on the throne of Zeus. So this is quite a special place, and I thought, what better place than to answer a question from Philippines, Anthony Sandra. That's the name of the person who asked this question. Well, I'm assuming it's not the name because I don't really know whether I'm speaking to a country, Anthony or Sandra. But I guess for this we're going to speak to you all. Anyway, the question that they asked, any chance of a video on the requirements of driving the continent? Hints, tips and tricks. I have almost finished my van and want to be on the road by next spring. All the best. So this is for you, and this is for anybody else who's thinking about doing van life, particularly driving through Europe. We went into Turkey for a while as well to press reset on the 90-day EU rule. I wrote down a load of stuff here of what I've kind of experienced over the last 6-7 months. And yeah, hopefully it will help you guys along the way. So one thing that I'd say, jumping straight into it. Obviously in London, I was in London before, you've got the ULEZ zone, low emission zone. Now, some countries in Europe have this, some countries don't. Just do your research before you go into the country, because it's important to note, because you will get a fine, and Germany in particular is very strict, as we found out. There are many cities in Germany that it applies to, actually loads to be honest with you. And the area is really big. So make sure if you are planning to go into Germany, make sure you check where the low emission zones are. And obviously other countries and stuff like this, but some of them, they don't have them at all. But I'm just giving you that, hopefully stop you getting a low emission fine, whatever it is. Just bear in mind as well, countries like France, for example, they require you to have your insurance certificate with you. So you need stuff like your insurance and your license, and you also need basically kind of like a breakdown kit. I can't remember what you call it, but you can get them from Halfords. I did, and you basically just get a triangle for if you break down. You get like a high-vis jacket. You've also got light deflectors that you put on the front, and you can get like GB and UK stickers. So just bear that in mind. Obviously, after you've got past France, I don't think it's a requirement to have your insurance printed, but it might be. So just check with each country that you go in. But obviously, I know you're going to more than likely come across either the tunnel or catch the ferry from Dover to Calais. As soon as you get into France, they do require your V5 needs to be in your glove box and your insurance certificate to proof that it's insured as well, okay? Just bear in mind that some countries, they require like a motorway pass. I don't really know what you call it, but you can have a look, literally just type in motorway pass on Google. I know Austria is one for definite. We found that out only when we got into the country. We were on the motorway and we're like, what are these stickers that we keep seeing? Turns out that you need to pay money to use the motorways, but it's not like a toll. So you're not going to arrive to a toll station, they take some money and on you go. You've actually got to go to one of the petrol stations or one of the convenience stores and buy like a pass for a week or whatever it is. It was only cheap. It was about €10, something like this, for a week. So if anything, it's cheaper than the tolls, to be honest with you. So I know Slovenia was another one. So just bear that in mind. Look at the country, look at the motorway rules, and look to see whether you need a pass. That'll save you getting a fine, because I know that they can be quite expensive. Park for night, I've mentioned this, you've probably heard about it if you're serious about doing van life. But what I'd say to you, for those that don't know, Park for Night is a free app that you can use. It tells you where to park, exactly how we found our parking spot right now. I would advise you to go to the premium. I think it's only $10 or something for an entire year. It's crazily cheap. Don't worry, I'm not like one of their promoters or getting any money from this or anything like this. I don't even have a link, but just go on the App Store, download Park for Night. I'd advise getting premium. The reason that I'd say that is because One, you can filter the star rating of places, so it saves you going to places that are not too good. You can just choose the better places. And also you can filter whether you want like a laundrette. I can't even think off the top of my head these other things that they've got, but whatever. You learn it as you go along. I'd advise you to get the premium. It saves the time, it's totally worth it, and it's cheap. As you're driving between countries, just remember that fuel prices differ significantly from going from one country to another. Not so much like between France, Belgium, Germany, this kind of thing, but certainly if you're in Austria, Switzerland, and then you potentially look at going to the Balkans, just bear in mind that fuel is a lot cheaper in other countries. And also, depending on where you are, i.e. if you're on a motorway in Austria, I think we saw fuel in one of the motorways there, it was like €2.20 something. It was insanely high. Now bear in mind, you can go into Montenegro and you can get it at like, I don't know, €1.30, 20. So there's big price differences in fuel. So I would advise, if you're about to leave a country that's got cheap fuel, fill your tank up and then use it as much as possible. Just as you're about to go out of a country that's got expensive fuel, see if you can make it into the next country. It'll save you some money. It's exactly what we've been doing. If you drive into Turkey, try and get the whole way to Turkey on a tank of fuel, because you'll save yourself a fortune. Obviously that's a piss take, you're not going to drive 4,000 miles, but fuel in Turkey is less than £1 a litre. It's the cheapest that we've seen. So the 90-day rule. Hopefully you know about this. If you don't, because of this bullshit with Brexit now, there is a 90-day rule in place. You can only be in the EU for 90 days in every 180 days, which means you can be in 90 days, then you have to be out 90 days, then it resets, then you can go another 90 days in. Hence why we drove through the EU, France, Belgium, Germany, Switzerland, Slovenia, Austria, this kind of stuff, Croatia, and then we had a break in the Balkans, Montenegro, Bosnia, Serbia, etc. Spent like, 90 days, say, there, a bit less. And then we went into Hungary, into Bulgaria, and then we again pressed reset in Turkey. So they're very good locations to press reset, so just bear that in mind. You've got the Balkans. Switzerland doesn't count, by the way. That's another thing to note, even though I think they're not officially classed as part of the EU, or there's something going on there. I can't remember. You can have a look. But it has to be in the Balkans to press reset. And Turkey also is a great place to press reset, and it works quite well as you're driving round, and then you go into the Balkans, then you can drive up Hungary, Bulgaria, go down, and then you can go into Turkey, press reset, and then you can come back along the coast. So that's exactly what we're doing. So just bear that in mind, because I know some countries can give you hefty fines if you take the piss with that. Chains. I know this is a total random order, by the way, but it's just what I've wrote down as it came out of my head. So chains, what I mean here is snow chains. Some countries require them when you are in the country at certain dates. I can't remember exactly when it is, but we basically waited to get into, I think it might have been the mountains in Austria, or it might have even been Slovenia. But either way, there's certain dates of when it's required. Let's say, for example, from mid-October to, I don't know, the middle of March, say something like this. So just take note of that, because it is required by law. And trust me, you will need them if you're in between those dates, because we were spinning around like crazy at the top of the mountains in Slovenia and stuff. There's only one thing to do when you get stuck like this. Let's have a snowball fight. So just bear that in mind. And get the right size, because we bought the wrong size as well. France, Germany and Belgium, and potentially a couple of other countries, but I know definitely these areas, there are specific campervan spots. You won't really find this in other countries in Europe. So it's worth taking note of these and taking advantage of these, because usually they have water fill-up spots. You can get rid of your waste, and you can potentially plug in your electricity and all this kind of stuff. My van is obviously off-grid. I'd advise you getting an off-grid van or building an off-grid van if you can, because then it allows complete freedom and flexibility. You don't have to go to specific camp spots and campsites to plug it in. But there we go, that's something that can hopefully help you as well. I think they're marked as green little vans or something like this on the Park 4 Night app. And last but not least, insurance. Just bear in mind that more than likely your insurance does not cover you in Turkey. I found that out as I went across the border, and they said, can you show me your insurance certificate? I showed them, and they said it doesn't cover Turkey. So I had to buy it at the border. It only cost me 130 euros, and that was for like a month or 3 months. It's the same price. We were staying for 3 months, so actually that's a very good price, to be honest. And also, most likely, certain countries in the Balkans it also won't cover. So just bear that in mind if you press in reset or you want to visit the Balkans, Montenegro and stuff like this, because they're beautiful places. I absolutely loved it there. We're going to be going back there in a couple of months when we're pressing reset on the way back, currently in Greece. And breakdown is usually the same. I got RAC breakdown for 6 months and then found out it didn't cover Montenegro and Bosnia and stuff like this, so just bear that in mind. So anyway, there you go, that's for you, my friend. I hope this has helped. That's everything that I've kind of learnt along the way. Hopefully stuff that you've not really heard on other videos and stuff like this, because this is stuff that I've witnessed, mistakes that I've made, and hopefully stuff that you can learn from. So hope that helps. If you've got any other questions regarding van life or anything really that I can potentially help with, then yeah, just let me know, drop me a question. And as always, peace and love to you all. Enjoy your travels, enjoy your freedom if you do go down this route, and I will see you on the next video. Peace and love.